Well, hello and welcome everyone to the Onward Master League. I am your host, Wookie. Hey, there we go. We fixed this. And joined by me today is my co-caster, Noman. Noman, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Wookie. Thanks for having me. I'm excited for this match that we've got for the folks today. A last-minute pickup for Friday Night Fights, and it's going to be a really, really good one.
Couldn't agree more. I am hyped for this match. I mean, okay, I don't know about you, but I have fought some of these K-FOT guys in some comp lobbies, and I am scared of these guys. They are frighteningly good. I'll just leave it there.
Both teams right now pretty solid in the league overall. This is a rank 18 to 19 match, both in the gold tier. They have I think it's a 5-1 and a 5-2 record respectively. They're both doing really, really well. And, to mention, of course, K-FOT is the first Onward full Korean team, I believe. And they're taking on the likes of Mike-Juliet, a largely NA team. So it's going to be a crazy matchup no matter what. And there's so much to talk about. Let's start diving into those bans and the map picks before this match kicks off.
Let's do that. So for the bans today from the home team, we do have, drumroll please, as it didn't remember my settings. I have to manually add it for some reason. We have Shipyard.
Shipyard was the first.
By K-FOT. Does that surprise you though?
I mean, it's the new one in the rotation, right? It just came out into the rotation this week, and so it doesn't surprise me because the time to get used to it isn't there, right? People didn't know what that map was going to be, and it doesn't surprise me to take an unknown variable out of the equation. If I'm K-FOT, I don't know if Mike-Juliet's been practicing it or not, so a pretty safe ban, I would say, on that side.
Totally agree. It's a very brand new map, and it's got an interesting element of like you got the tunnels, you got a lot of height elevation with the roofs of the buildings, so it's quite an interesting map, and I can understand why both teams, or especially K-FOT, may not want to ban it. As for the away team, we have a ban of Subway, which I actually found this kind of interesting since it's a classic map. It's been around for a while, and it's from Mike-Juliet of all people. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that? I know you're running some statistics while we were off the cast.
Yeah. So this is a pretty understandable ban if you take a look at the statistics of the team. So Subway, the most played map by the K-FOT folks, a 60% win rate overall. Meanwhile, Mike-Juliet, again, in the regular season 11 season, they have not played it. So probably a ban to weakness as much as to strength, and not surprising to me in the least.
Yeah, true. I wonder though, maybe, I mean, it does look like the first map going to be played is going to be Sand, and we banned Shipyard, we banned Subway, but then we go to Sand as map 1. I don't know, that's kind of funny and interesting to me at the same exact time.
Yeah, and again, to back it up with some interesting factoids from the match page, both teams have yet to win on Sand in the regular season.
What?
Both have played it twice, and both have only managed to put up 1 point, 1 round across 2 times playing this map on both sides. So a very interesting strategy here, and you got to wonder, like, did they play it early in the season and then sort of shore up, and now they want to take Mike-Juliet to somewhere they've been a bit more practiced, or maybe they're just seeing like, hey, we can improvise better than the other. It's hard to say what the reasoning behind it is, but certainly a map that we've started to see gain some momentum, right, over the course. Like, it's been banned a lot, and I think in the sort of midsection of the season, it's started to come up more and more often. I've seen it in a few casts, so I think it's going to be an interesting game.
I agree. I mean, I just played it the other day, as everyone saw, and while we didn't do so well as a team, I actually quite enjoyed it. It definitely has a lot of things going for it, albeit though the spawns are pretty tight, so both teams are going to have to be aware of that. And as I say that, they are already diving into round 1 here. So let's just jump right into the gameplay. Check out how K-FOT approaches this objective, which, I mean, well, it's the tough one. It's in the middle. It's the middle garage here. So
Yeah, this garage objective, we've seen some chaos on before, and just I think in the match earlier today, we saw some pretty intense holds from the defense and a really good Silent Purge beginners match. If you didn't catch it, go check it out on the Twitch. But things have settled in a little bit for a lot of. I think I saw all the players stop at the exact same time.
yeah, I was just gonna say, what is going on? It's like they're all on the same clock.
They've all gotten into position and they're just looking for some intel here. I don't think there's a lot. There's no sight lines really for any of these players, but an unfortunate down will come out. Was that a C4 or was that a grenade that downed?
Somebody seems to have thrown a grenade. I missed who threw it, but that triggered the C4 that Craigzilla had placed. I believe it was McLovin that threw that grenade and just unfortunately caught him there. Although the revives do go out, that's not going to be good for Mike-Juliet, though. They're going to be a little weakened there on those defenders. So if they do a trade, that's most certainly going to end in a death for them. Ooh, Seal taking out Thrifty. That pretty much opens up that north approach there for K-FOT. Seal going in, takes out Craigzilla, takes out McLovin, who's on a tear, walks right in front of Master Shake. I'm not
checking the corner, right?
Yeah, one corner you don't check.
There it is, and they do eventually find Master Shake in the corner based off of that audio kill, and K-FOT will take the first map in a pretty commanding fashion. The little charge there from the north side working out quite well as they swung the corners and picked up 3 on their way into the objective. A really good first round for K-FOT here on their map choice.
That was pretty impressive. I mean, that initial tear that was on display by Seal 54, my goodness. I think he's actually a Korean in the Korean military, and he is actually a SEAL in the Korean Navy. So,
man, that is working out for him here, right?
It sure is. You know, those years at the academy really paid off here for Onward.
Yeah.
But man, like, that was a phenomenal opening round for K-FOT. Now Mike-Juliet have the opportunity to answer back here on what I would argue is probably, I don't know, simultaneously the easiest objective to defend and also get picked off from a distance if you play it really smart by the Marsoc. It's, I don't know, Mike-Juliet just were not ready for that north push, and Seal 54 just opened it up for them. And they all came in at the same exact time, right? Yeah. Very impressive stuff.
That was the one thing that I wanted to say about this objective is, yes, it can be easy to defend in some cases, but if the offense takes enough time and isn't challenged to sort of get into position, get around the objective, I mean, they only pushed in from the north and the east, but you can really get around to a couple of different sides and put the pressure on from different angles. It could go differently for this Mike-Juliet squad. And pre-fire from the K-FOT side, just keeping some angles suppressed, no contact yet. A nice flash there by K-FOT Seal, and Thrifty now going to be under pressure. Is the flash still affecting him? It is not. He is able to deal with that defender, and getting aggressive on defense like that may not pay any sort of dividends for this squad, as they're down to 4 now. And the pre-fire from Craigzilla trying to find something. He's not getting much love, but he is keeping the K-FOT defenders rotating a little bit. We saw each move in the upstairs objective, and again, we're in that little slow period where everybody's kind of getting set up and tossing their equipment.
Yeah, we have those 2 Marsoc players. They're all, well, make that a 3 with Craigzilla. They're all going out that side hallway, and they are flanking heavily right now along the east. So, sorry, the west. We will find out how well that pays off here. McLovin going up on the roof to take out Schizo. That's going to end in a trade. That opens up the roof there for Marsoc to at least gain some upper hand dominance on this objective. Thrifty laying in shots there, trying to take out I think he saw Bong. He did. That's going to end up in a trade as well. My goodness. Trades are on sale today. D-Dug just takes out Master Shake from behind, running up the stairs on the roof. Regaining that control of the roof is so important as Volk. But D-Dug being the last man up, Somnam and one other, it escapes me right now, are on objective.
Yeah, Craigzilla's rotating, and Dita there with a nice little angle off that rooftop, and regaining that for the defense was huge. I mean, just being able to have this kind of overview is so strong for the defender. Is he going to spot Craigzilla, though, as he rotates out? And the answer is pretty apparent as Mike-Juliet scoop up a Marsoc win of their own and tie the series right back up.
Impressive. I mean, it seems to me like Sand is just all about encircling the enemy, right? And then finding those picks, getting those trades, getting that height elevation on that center roof, and then just pretty much going to town on them.
I think that elevation is the key. Having the elevated positions on this map, because the sight lines are so long in what is essentially a pretty close quarters map, that you sort of got your lanes that you can cover. But if you get on that elevation, you kind of have a wide swath of coverage. And if you commit to, while dangerous, certainly can pay off if you can catch the offense unawares, or the defense if you're able to get up there early, as we saw one member of Mike-Juliet get up there and trade out. I mean, I think elevation on this map is the key to winning it. If you can control these rooftops, if you can control the access to the rooftops, you will find yourself on the winning side more often than not.
Yeah, I could not agree more, Noman. It does feel like when I'm on the ground in this map playing, it does feel like the elevation just really tilts the shift of the battle in your favor. Now we're gonna have I think it's the radio tower. Yeah, it's the giant satellite dish antenna building. I don't know what the official word for that objective is, but there you have it, boys. That's the objective.
We're gonna do radio station. I think that's the easiest one.
I guess it is a radio station. Yeah,
it's gotta be. It's got right.
What else would it be?
Yeah, exactly. But we will see how Mike-Juliet does on this defensive round. They've got to avoid the accidental downs, as we saw happen in that first round. And I think they looked strong on that Marsoc round, and you have to wonder if they had full health on all of their members, would they have won those trades that they had in that first round? We'll see exactly how this works out for them as K-FOT start to get that sort of half moon around the objective. Right now we've got contact here coming up with Dita and Craigzilla. We're here on camera too as he swings around the corner, and that is going to be a full-on trade, and we've seen quite a few of those already just in the first 2 rounds. That's going to make it a 4-4.
Just barely missed that trade, but I did catch the silhouettes. I'm over here on EJ, just seeing what he cooks up. I could see his brain running. He's thinking about something. A big play, checking his tablet to see where his teammates are in position.
Pressure from Schizo, and Somnambulist coming in. He swings the corner, and Somnambulist using the equipment at the time, not able to get his gun up and deal with Schizo. That's a huge heads-up play, to rush a defender like that, and to have them fumbling with equipment is a huge deal, and that's going to swing the favor into K-FOT territory. We'll see if the remainder of this defense is able to deal. They're pretty tucked in.
Yeah, they are, and Schizo coming around the back of the radio tower. I wonder if they're going to hear his footsteps. Maybe not.
I mean, this is a good position to be in while you wait for the rest of your team, right? You can kind of just, like he's about to deal with Thrifty here, and there's the trade, and that's affording them the opportunity, affording the rest of the Marsoc team plenty of information, and now he's able to do the call-outs from there as well, and this should be a K-FOT round. They've got a hefty man advantage. I can't imagine they won't go for that res because he is relatively tucked in.
I will say, I mean, being able to speak a foreign language so the enemy team doesn't know what you're doing is a huge benefit for this
Yeah.
K-FOT team. I mean, they don't know he's down. For all they know, he just called out an enemy. Oh no, Five Bong does down his teammate, but he quickly revives him. That just goes to show just how high the tensions are right now, and like the stress of Onward really kind of gets to you after a while. But a revive does come out. We have 4 members of the Marsoc team against 2 members of Mike-Juliet here. I mean, McLovin and Master Shake have their work cut out for them right here.
Yeah, they have got the right idea, and they, you know, no caps are going to come out on this objective. They're going to have to push in on you, and Eej does just that. He pushes in. He's over the top of, or underneath.
Out. He's capping.
Yeah, he's capping right now. Master Shake not going to check the objective, and not only does he cap, but he finds the final kill as well to boost his stats. And K-FOT coming out so strong in that 3rd round. I mean, you know, the heads-up play there to take the tablet out and not get greedy and check for defenders is huge. I'm surprised as well, because there was nobody else there. There's nobody from the offensive side there to assist. Had he gone down, the next challenger would have come in sort of single file. But having that the knowledge that he can cap behind that little piece of cover is huge, and puts 2 points on the board for K-FOT.
And I think it just goes to show, right? Like the lack of practice from a lot of teams on this map. You think you have all your bases covered, you get your sight lines down, and then it turns out like, they can cap from right below that thing. And it's just like, oh man.
I mean, it's funny because you're kind of thinking like, when you're the defender, you're thinking like, well, surely they're going to try and come in and clear the room, right? You know, that's exactly the thought that was going through Master Shake's head, was absolutely they're going to push in. There's going to be a whole, you know, breach, bang, and clear scenario going. But no, that position perfect to punch the code in, and I'm sure they'll be kicking themselves when they see that in the cast later. But now we're into our 4th round, and Mike-Juliet's got a bit of work to do, and I wonder if they're also going to be thinking cap, as Schizo keeps their attention quite a bit. There's the grenade toss onto the roof, and Schizo ducking away just in time.
Yeah, it's just so hard to keep up with the chaos of everything. Somnam does take out Schizo. That was the main defender's roof position. Well, it looks like there's one defender. Sorry, my bad. Only one defender on objective. K-FOT deciding to actually just push out into the the southeast here. Meanwhile, all of Mike-Juliet is over in the northwest.
Yeah, they focused on that center building. Again, that elevation, I think, is what they were trying to deal with, and they put the pressure early onto Schizo up there and managed to root him out. That is going to give K-FOT a bit of opportunity to get around behind, as we saw in that northeast sector. You can see Seal and Dita both rotating the long way around, basically in the Marsoc spawn. But if this crash doesn't come soon, then the 3 Marsoc people right next to the objective could do some serious damage and put a code in of their own.
Somnam just tearing it up here. Seal gonna get the refrag on him. Somnam just using too many words there, and K-FOT able to just dial in his location because he just keeps talking to the people he downs. McLovin and K-FOT gonna come head to head here. Oh, at the same time, Craigzilla pushes it. McLovin clears the room, and Mike-Juliet find themselves another point on the board.
That's the risk you take when you get off objective. It becomes difficult to time anything. You're not aware of where that defense could be. You're not aware of where the offense has come from at this stage. I mean, as Seal rotated through, he cleared a good, quarter of the map, maybe a third of the map at that stage. And he should have had gun up. I mean, he should have been ready on that approach to the objective, but he wanted to crash. He wanted to support his teammate, and he didn't quite get there in time, unfortunately. And that's going to give Mike-Juliet a bit of a breather, but they still have a lot of work to do. We've been trading largely Marsoc rounds here, so this is potentially map point for K-FOT, and That's not what Mike-Juliet want to be when they're on defense. We are shifting objectives now to the warehouse in the center of the map as well. And this one, again, rooftop control, elevation, and having that sort of timing down is going to be key to winning this for K-FOT. And Mike-Juliet have to... they've got to hope that their defensive coverage does not leave any gaps, because if you let this offense get all the way around you and apply that pressure from all sides, it can be pretty chaotic, as we've seen quite a few times in the last couple of weeks as this map's been played a lot more.
I absolutely agree. It's all three of those things you pointed out, and I mean, just the pure aggression from both of these teams in terms of their defensive positions being really pushed out, and then Mike-Juliet, just coming out, fist swinging, has really just shown that sand is just a really chaotic map, and I've actually been enjoying watching the games take place on sand. I don't thoroughly enjoy playing on sand just yet, but I do enjoy watching it. Now we are on round 5 here. K-FOT could, I don't know, they could take this on this round if Mike-Juliet don't play conservatively here. They have to definitely play more carefully than I think they have shown themselves to play as right now.
Botched nade there from Somnambulist, wanting to deal with 5 bong, but not going to have the opportunity to do so. In the meantime, the
McLovin,
Southeast
surrounded,
defender
goes down.
No love for him there, as K-FOT being methodical and making sure they clear this aggressive defense. Now it's all down to those near the objective. They still have to deal with 5 bong at each here, and as I say that, another member of the defense is knocked out, and I have to wonder, and as I say that, I was going to say, I wonder who's got that clacker for the C4 here on camera too, but he's able to identify it and disable it. And another trade coming out on the north means it is a 3v2. Are some reses available, but I think only the offense will be able to get theirs, and that's going to put the favor in a big way on this offense.
Something I've noticed a lot recently is a lot of silencers being utilized on this map, and I think it actually is paying off to some degree.
Is it just distance that so you won't be able to hear the shots at a distance? Is that the sort of perceived benefit?
I wonder. I think it's more of like confusion. It's more difficult to tell exactly where they're shooting you from. You'll definitely hear the sound, but it just sounds kind of weird, right?
Got it. Yeah, Schizo here now on the inside does find Craig. He's pushing on to Master Shaken just like that. Map 1 dealt with quickly and efficiently by the K-FOT team. A good set of holds by Mike-Juliet, but that aggression on the defense not paying off in the end. When you're in a situation like that where you're down a point and you have to hold the defense to take it to your Marsoc round, a lot of teams will opt to be a little bit more reserved, and we didn't see that there, and they got punished for it in a big way, especially that early push by the defender out into the southeast, and getting cleaned up. That had Marsoc advantage written all over it for the rest of the round.
It sure did. They went into this map extremely quickly. I wonder, yeah, I guess they didn't intend to play this map. Sorry guys, I tried to show you the final score and they changed the map on me right as I did it. But map 2 is going to be Quarantine Night, and I gotta say, I hope we have flashlights because it's a little dark out there.
Yeah, it is a little dark on the quarantines, but hopefully with the lighting boost we've got, won't be too bad. I'm checking out the map right now, and it's more than visible, certainly, and I'm curious to know, and I'll just double check the stats here. So Quarantine, a map played by Mike-Juliet twice, but they have won both, and a map that has not been played by K-FOT. So I gotta wonder now, is this going to be sort of a reverse sweep? Are we going to see Mike-Juliet run away with Quarantine and go to a map 3 decider? I know the folks tuning in right now in the Twitchverse, I'm sure would want to see that, and you gotta hope that K-FOT's got a plan for this, right? Because not only are they going to a map that they have not played in the regular season, but it's also the night variant, which means a little bit of loadout shakeups. Even if you had practiced it, did you practice the night variant? Do you know what you're going to sacrifice for that one NVG point that you have to invest? Or do you not take it? Do you assume that it's bright enough and deal with the loadout that you have? It's those kinds of things that I think are always interesting about night maps. Is do you sacrifice a piece of equipment for the NVG? Do you go one smoke less, one flash less? Or do you instead opt to rely on your headset to to be able to still show you where the defender? I mean, the sort of positive draw of a night map is that as a defender, you are more difficult to see, right? That is the biggest advantage.
Right.
So, Mike-Juliet picking into it is certainly in their favor score-wise, at least what we have so far. But is it going to be punishing them because now K-FOT has that defensive advantage? And I can theory craft all day long, but round one is getting underway. And we have got the crashed plane OBJ that K-FOT is defending first. And we'll see what happens here on map 2.
I will say, I mean, the stats didn't look all that great for either team on sand, but K-FOT just commandingly take it. And to your point, being a night map, I wonder how that will kind of throw a wrench into both teams' loadouts, their strategies moving into this, especially because, Volk have that advantage of being entirely black and difficult to see in the darkness because their uniforms just being so dark.
Yeah, and for this objective as well, right? Because that little corridor, the fuselage of the plane is so tough to see inside of as it is, and having defenders sucked in there could be quite punishing. We see some suppressive fire coming out onto Schizo's position, and pressure coming in early as the rooftop defender able to spot one out, and now he can actually apply quite a bit of pressure on this north side as the shots ring out and keep them pinned. If they cross over to this northwest corner, they're going to have a hard time. Meanwhile, the center burning ends in a trade, and now it's just a member of the offense there. The northwest, another set of refrag trades as each picks up one of the members of the offense there who managed to scoop up Schizo just moments before, and pretty quickly, a minute and a half in, and we're in a 3v2.
I can't believe how quickly that happened. And there was action going on both sides of the map all at the same time. I cannot fly out of burning building. That's fantastic.
Yeah, those windows will get you in this.
Have to get a little crafty with it, but that's fine. So
He has to tuck in now as Master Shake able to identify him, and the member of the offense in center burning goes down, and K-FOT able to pretty handedly deal with that offensive push from this Mike-Juliet squad. And that is exactly what I was talking about right before we got into the round. Yes, you've won on it before, but you are still playing at a disadvantage, at least initially. And we'll see if we end up trading Volk rounds here. It's going to be interesting to see because we just saw basically it was all Marsoc. Sand was an entirely Marsoc victory map, and it'll be curious to see if now we see a Volk switch. So now on map 2, we have a defender advantage, which I don't know, Wookie, you're still a player. Have you found that Volk advantage is as prevalent now as it used to be in the days of yore with Onward?
that's kind of a hot take for me at this point. I think that there's such a strong peeker's advantage now in this game that I don't think Volk have quite the same advantage that they used to. I think the team that is attacking with the most aggression seems to have the best results overall. I mean, they have the trade advantage at worst. So I mean, yeah, it depends on the lines. It depends on the map. For this map especially, I would say that it could go either way between Marsoc and Volk. It really just depends on the objective.
Yeah, and I think IDing where your enemy is coming from is even more important now than it ever used to be when you're a Volk defender on quarantine. You have to know what angles you have to cover, because realistically with 5 people you can't cover every approach, but you do have to understand where the enemy could be coming from and cover the likely approaches and sort of segment the map off. And right there we saw K-FOT do a great job of it on defense. We'll see if Mike-Juliet can replicate the same on their defensive round, or if K-FOT will continue their score streak from map 1, as they have 2 unanswered points now in this second map. Well, overall, between first and second.
Does look like we're gonna have mirrored spawns here. K-FOT spawning in that northeast crater spawn. Just lasers sweeping the entire map. Seal 54 finds McLovin in that burning building position, but Mike-Juliet have opted to put 2 members of the defense in that center burning, which is something that you don't see very often.
Well, he was actually out in Tank Courtyard. He was at the his
that.
body is right here. It's on the right the entrance to the crash piece of engine. So yeah, so he was out there aggressive. And again, we've seen this now for a few different objectives from Mike-Juliet. That aggressive defensive position almost paying off.
Looks like Thrifty one-tapped EJ. Unfortunately, it was not a headshot, so EJ is still downed and able to give callouts, and I think K-FOT is looking for that revive. Trying to figure out where he got shot from. First of all, you gotta ID with the shooter's location, of course, but EJ, yeah, he's in a real pickle because anyone could easily see him going for getting a revive on EJ. And it looks like Thrifty is looking for that. His laser is painting the target. Will they see Bong going for that revive? No, Thrifty looks away. Just the right moment, or wrong moment, however you want to look at it. Just like that, though. K-FOT still 5 strong. Schizo, Somnaugh do trade, however, in burning building, and now 3 defenders remain for Mike-Juliet, and only 1 defender actually on objective.
Yeah, this is all going to be about, and I liken this to the sort of NFL playbooks. It's going to be zone coverage, right? You can't really have the man-to-man coverage anymore. You've got to cover the most amount of ground that you can. And Thrifty's position here, I think, is going to pay off in spades if this K-FOT offense isn't ready for it. Interesting note, Thrifty not bringing night vision. So this is, I haven't seen a lot of night vision actually on a lot of these helmets. So these teams opting largely for the light of the moon to guide them to this objective, and not bringing that NVG, not spending the point, right? Although I do see it on quite a few of these MARSOC members.
I think that makes sense because, on MARSOC, you have to be able to look into dark, shadowy positions and see that Volk uniform. But when you're Volk, you don't really need to worry about that. You can see the MARSOC uniforms pretty easily. EJ taking out Thrifty, though, on that white car in the northwest. That's really going to open up that approach there. They're going to... K-FOT just opting to just zerg their way through the middle, however. Craigzilla a little off objective and kind of in the open. He might be a victim to this push here from the K-FOT guys if they decide to swing south. I don't know, though. This could go either way for Craigzilla and Master Shake.
They've got to keep their eyes in all directions now, right? That having your defense spread that early and not being able to get the comms back is so detrimental. And now this Mike-Juliet squad is really going to struggle to get this defensive coverage that they need. As I say that, 1 member of the offense going down, evening things out just a little bit. And this position from Master Shake not paying off there, as 5 Bong is going to say he's tucked in along the darker side of the wall. But I believe he's in a position to cap. If 5 Bong is aware of this position in the corner of the fuselage, he could punch in the code. It does not look like that is the case, and he swings out, opts to get the trade instead with that final member of the defense, and K-FOT go up 2-0 on Mike-Juliet's map choice.
Woo! That was a crazy defense. And they could have capped, like you pointed out, right behind that location along the fuselage. You can sneak in there and get a cap in there, and the team will... Enemy team's none the wiser. And I mean, frankly, personally, that's why I've been C4ing that whole wall, because if someone is back there, I don't have to worry about it. I just blew my clacker and I'll take them out. But that's the risk though, right? If you get really far off objective as a defender on this particular objective, you can find yourself on the wrong end of a cap, because simply moving around that fuselage, getting into that crack and typing the code is such an easy thing to do once you have established that you're free to do it.
Yeah, I think we've seen probably the craziest plays I've seen out Quarantine with that objective, right? We've seen the sort of cap under a flash. We've seen the misdirection play and having the defense watching a different angle and somebody sneaks in that little corridor and cap. We've seen people clear the building first. We've seen great holds off the roof. I mean, it really has been one of the most dynamic objectives on this map, at least of the new ones. There, it was kind of a run-of-the-mill play. I mean, a good play from K-FOT, very patient and dealing with the members of the defense that they could ID. But certainly could have been 2 points, right? I mean, anytime you leave points on the table like that, you always have to wonder, what can we do better? How can we improve? And I'm sure watching back the cast, they'll remember. They'll remember next time they get into that position.
That is the best part of being casted. You can learn from your mistakes and see just exactly where you went wrong. Something that you would never really know otherwise without a cast. So, I mean, I'm surprised, there aren't, more teams that want to be casted. I mean, maybe there are, and they just don't make themselves
I'm sure
vocal.
there are. Yeah, there's plenty of people who want to get cast. It's honestly been tough for us to field cast lately, just getting people set up, and our goal is get every match casted. I mean, if there's a dream of mine in that it's that we run a full-on VRML channel, and on that channel all we do is bring games when they go live. But
one day,
one day. That's the dream. That's the goal. We will do our best in the meantime, and we're into round 3 now. The sort of relatively quick spawn in the north for Mike-Juliet's going to get them in the face of this defense early. We'll see that coverage is largely Western focused. Not a ton of defense looking out towards the east, although they do have the hospital. There's an ambulance going to be going down to Schizo's position early, as well as Master Shake. The quick ID there is coming in. McLovin going down as well, and Mike-Juliet massively on the back foot 30 seconds in.
Just mowed down in round after round, just finding the Marsoc target. This is just so much pressure for these last 2 players of Mike-Juliet to overcome here.
Yeah, this is really gonna need to slow them up a little bit. They're gonna have to time and deal with them. Thrifty is able to hear the call outs from Schizo, and he's gonna push off of that. Craigzilla manages to find one on the backside. Thrifty finds another, just a down, but he has to go for the reload on the gun, and that means there is just one member of the offense left, and it's Craigzilla. He's got a lot of work to do.
At least he has that M249. We're just gonna ride along with Craigzilla here for a moment. Just see what he does, how he handles the pressure of being solo dolo within the first 90 seconds of round 3. EJ, man, just hunting, looking for the kills. Like that K-FOT take round 3 within less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was a very fast round, and the spawn was relatively quick. But yeah, as you said, EJ has been on the hunt. He's 6-1 so far on the series, 3 rounds in. A big score line over his teammates. The next most is 3. That's the highest on any team so far. So he has been putting in quite a bit of work and dealing a good bit of damage there, as he was able to get the quick refrag, then rotate, find that final member of the offense, and manages to put him down. And that's going to put us in a 3-0 scenario with K-FOT poised to take map 2 and take the series here out from underneath Mike-Juliet. It looks like we did have a member of Mike-Juliet drop. Hopefully we won't have to go to intermission, but we'll be keeping an eye on that.
Indeed. Oh, looks like I think
that
mistakes were
maybe,
made.
yeah, maybe an auto start on accident, but yeah, I think in the meantime, I do want to thank everybody for coming out. I know this was a last-minute Friday Night Fights situation. We do appreciate you guys tuning in with us, and it actually does not look like a false start, Wookie. It looks like we are getting into the round.
Friday Night Fights, the best.
Friday Night Fights getting very spicy here as K-FOT now poised to take this second map and the series. If Mike-Juliet can't hold, and they're going to have a harder time doing it, being a man down. The shots from Somnambulist do deal the right damage when they need it to, and this is the aggressive push working out for Mike-Juliet as just one member of the offense remains.
I'm speechless. Where was that aggression all game?
There it is. I think it finally clicked. You know, that was the time that it worked out. They actually ID'd the spawn. They got in their face early in a huge round save, and being a man down, no less.
They don't even need that fifth player. Like, yeah, just do your thing. We figured out how to play the game now, and we're gonna go and ball swinging. My goodness, like, well, that was exciting. Congrats to Mike-Juliet on a successful, aggressive push like that on the defense. It's not something most teams can pull off. I mean, I speak from my own experience on Mayhem. We're so orderly and I guess refrained that we could never pull off an aggressive play like that.
Yeah, it is. You have to be very confident in your shooting abilities, right? You gotta be ready to snap up at a moment's notice. And I don't think K-FOT were even close to prepared. I think when the first shots rang out, they thought just one person was rushing them, but indeed it was, what was it, 3 members in the defense that ended up being past mid-map, and a huge pickup for that Mike-Juliet squad, as they still have just 4 players available. I wonder if it's a technical issue or if they're going to be playing without him. It looks like they're going to opt to go 5v4, and hell, if it worked out for them in the last round, it absolutely could work out in these upcoming rounds.
My goodness, the stones on these guys.
Yeah, not often you see a drop going in favor. I mean, there is that sort of, there's less of us to ID, therefore you don't know where we're coming from as fast. You know, you got that argument from the other side, but still not having the even man advantage is an interesting strategy. We'll see what happens as Mike-Juliet pushes down this south street. They do ID the cross, but the shots do not land, and that is one defender making their way into that's a pretty sticky position too. You got to be careful pretty much for the whole round until you deal with them. Steele does manage to scoop up McLovin, who gets a bit aggressive in that tank courtyard basement area, and Craigzilla now applying the pressure as a result. Does manage to down him, and that's 2 members of the defense out. A 4v3 Arez available, but it is Seal and EJ making himself available at just the right time. Not able to get that res, though. Man, had that been a res, could have been a huge swing for K-FOT.
Master Shake just running right up on objective alongside Somnom. I can't believe the defensive coverage gaps that allowed this to transpire like this, but 5bong is up by himself. Somnan is tablet out. He gets taken out though. Master Shake through smokes. Almost a trade against Bong, and man, if that had played out, he could have capped, but it did not work in Mike-Juliet's favor, and just like that, K-FOT will take round 5, winning map 2.
Yeah, I wonder if that frag grenade that he had that Somnambulist tossed right before going in was a poor choice, right? To telegraph your approach, especially if you were going to go for that camp. You almost want to stay a little quieter than normal, and as we saw there, not paying off in the end. And we'll see if Mike-Juliet can get themselves some points here in this final map as we take him to Suburbia. Wookie.
Of all maps, I wasn't really expecting Suburbia after this, but hey, you know, to each their own, I guess. Suburbia, the map choice here from K-FOT. Personally, I can't really play Suburbia because I don't know what DPI did to this map, but it runs like just terribly for my PC. But yeah,
I probably shouldn't say this on cast. I'm gonna get like a blast of DMs, but I have fixed that before. I have NVIDIA graphics my way out of the performance issues on Suburbia.
you're gonna have to refresh my memory on how you did that.
There's several posts in several areas that I did when it first came out, and some of it actually has to do with an Onward setting not sticking properly that I don't think was ever fixed, but I will be happy to link that at some point if somebody asks. Yeah, I know it affects. It's odd because it affects only some people and not others. I know it's the smoke, right? It's the burning, the fire and the smoke. When you look in the direction of the smoke and burning, you have a performance problem. But I have actually been able to resolve that. I was a person who had that problem and then spent 6 hours fixing it. So you know, don't at me, but I would be happy to maybe dig that up and post it in a league channel.
You heard it here first, chat. Don't add him.
Yeah, this was probably the biggest mistake I'll make all day is saying that I can help you fix Suburbia. But either way, I can't fix anything right now because we have a round to get into, my friend. Suburbia, this is going to be a really hot matchup. Both of these teams have played Suburbia. Both of these teams have at least won one of their series. Craigzilla with that early pre-fire position, that is punishing. You know, those pre-fire positions, you have got to be aware of them.
Smoke's coming out left and right. This is just absolute madness. Somnom coming around the corner, going for objective. Tablet out. He is capping, doesn't quite seal the deal, and that Adida taking him out with a nice headshot on objective.
That is exactly. Oh, my apologies. Those teams should be swapped in the board. I was like, man, those names don't look familiar. I will fix that right now, but that is in fact the opposite. There we go. Everything is correct. Mike-Juliet on the approach. K-FOT on the defense, but not for long as Mike-Juliet with their 4-man squad, no less. And that aggressive push able to nab that first round. I mean, this 4-man squad has really been doing some work since they've come on. They've won, half of or 2/3 of their rounds that they've played so far.
I don't even know what do you say? Like, what if you're the 5th guy out and your team starts winning without you? Like, how does that make you feel? McLovin here, 3 kills right off the bat. The other two getting
huge early pickup too, right? I mean, that early pre-fire evening things out right away, and then they just kind of rode that momentum through the rest of the map, applied the pressure. Somnambulous going for that cap was probably one of the ballsiest plays I've seen in some time, but they had the smoke coverage. The only confusion for me there was they threw the smokes in lane 3, and I saw the M203 smoke come out, and all of it was focused on lane 3, but then he ramped lane 4 to cap. And it's a little confusing to see all that utility used in the lane that you would assume the coverage is needed, and then not using any of it and going for the cap direct on the objective. But either way, doesn't matter. He caused enough confusion and enough chaos to allow his team to pick up those kills and get that round win. So who am I to question the strategies? Am I right? Okay.
Hey, if it works, then it works.
Friday night fights coming out in full force, and we see Mike-Juliet again with that early pre-fire, keeping this offense on its toes, but they don't spawn in that mirrored spawn, right? They got the northwest spawn instead of the northeast. The pressure here in the middle already coming in as Dita swings finds 2. Quickly dealt with. When McLovin on an absolute tear. This aggressive defense working absolutely perfectly for them as McLovin. Is he gonna find Schizo? He is. He doesn't get his hand on his gun in time, and it's just K-FOT Seal in the middle left, a res available, and Eej on the backside. There goes McLovin's patience from Seal working out.
땡큐. 죽였나요?
예, 죽였어.
Ooh, and the heads up there from EJ through the bush does manage to get the final member of the defense, and they have even things out again. They're not happy with just taking the series. They want all 3 maps, Wookie. They want all those sweet MMR points from this matchup. But I mean, that was such a good defensive flank by Mike-Juliet. He really was on a tear through that offense before he was shut down.
Indeed, he was. And I do apologize, folks, because I had a small disconnect with my up deck, so I was not able to transition to the gameplay fast enough because everyone just killed each other within 2 minutes again, and I don't know how to keep up with this mayhem over here.
It has been some chaos for sure, but we will see in full screen, I hope, this time, Wookie.
Yes, I got everything sorted now. Don't worry, folks. I have it. We are good to go now.
All right, Mike-Juliet on the offense. This 4-man squad putting up one of the biggest fights I have seen by a team playing with a man down so far this season.
I gotta admit, this is probably the best 4 versus 5 performance I've ever seen from a team, and that's, you know, that's a big deal, I think. I mean, these Mike-Juliet guys just decided, you know what do we have to lose at this point? Let's just go see what happens. Full send it.
Full send. So Nambulous with that trade out is going to put a defender down, force a rotation. EJ has managed to scoop up one in lane 4. We'll have to deal with Craigzilla here pretty soon, though. This is the quietest it's been for a few seconds, I think, all map long, as the smokes now rain in. Actually, yeah, that is quite good placement on that red smoke. Craigzilla can really focus on dealing with 5 bong from this position with that smoke in play. He's got to move now.
Oh, 5 bong gonna be especially ready with all that pre-fire coming out towards EJ, but Craigzilla being hunted by EJ. Craig's going down to EJ, unfortunately, at white car, but Master looking for that refrag, doesn't find it as EJ takes him out. Just like that, K-FOT win round 3.
Yeah, and EJ on a tear again. A nice set of pickups by him, blinded by the smoke, but patient enough to wait. And that offense identifying itself early. I mean, Master Shake had nowhere to go there at the end, right? I mean, he had Dita right around the corner. He had EJ looking at him down the street. I mean, it was a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for them. And K-FOT able to hang on in that defensive round. And have we been trading Volks? I believe we have. We've been trading Volk rounds 1-1 so far. And we'll see if Mike-Juliet can continue to hold despite still being a man down.
I mean, I gotta hand it to these guys for not, you know, calling a timeout, looking for a reservist, phoning in a friend, you know, like they're just going into this 4v5 and actually doing a pretty good job at it in the process, right? I mean, I don't say this lightly. I mean, this is probably the best 4v5 performance I've ever seen in the VRML here, because K-FOT are a very good team.
Yeah, this has really turned into exactly the kind of fight I thought it would be when we joined this. The pressure coming in now. Some Nambulous, though, unfortunately downing himself, and we'll see if their 3-man squad is as good as their 4, as now the trades come out in playground, and Master Shake going down as well as McLovin. That just leaves 1 defender left, and K-FOT poised to take the first Marsoc round of this map. All right, now it is all down to Craigzilla, and he has got a mountain of work left as he's got a member of the offense already on his side of the map. EJ, the hunter extraordinaire, looking for the back of Craigzilla here, just missing the corner by milliseconds, basically. The pad is out, though. Seal 54 on objective, not going to punch the code in time. And Craigzilla going down, sacrificing himself to save the extra point play there. But, I mean, they were hungry for it, you know what I mean? They had the count.
Yeah, they were just, you know, let's just kill this guy. And a good job for Craig to get into the middle of the action to, you know, get some one more opportunity for another round. If they had capped, that would have been game over for Mike-Juliet. But they get to hang on for at least a couple more rounds if they could pull it off in the next round. And then the round after that, maybe if they get a cap, they could turn it around and some kind of miracle could happen. But Mike-Juliet really have their work cut out for them here in this situation right now.
I mean, yeah, McLovin with 6 kills, though. Like, they've been putting in the work. You got to wonder why they had to go a man down in unfortunate situations. Certainly when the chips are down like this in a league match. But, hey, life happens. You know, equipment failure is a thing, and who knows? I've lost internet in the middle of a match before, you know. It's happened to us all. We're at the mercy of our public utilities, unfortunately, and hopefully at some point down the line we can transition this into some LAN events, you know? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah,
VRML LAN event.
Would be nice. Would be epic, I think. Maybe if like Facebook sponsored something, perhaps.
Oh, wouldn't that be the craziest thing?
At like maybe an OC7 or something. I don't know. Just spitballing here.
We're just kind of throwing it out in the wind. You don't like it, you toss it right back. But the round is underway now as we get into the number 5 round. And the pre-fire strong in this round as it has been in all the rest. That schizo pre-fire, fantastic. Oh, and the chaos is everywhere. The shots from the defense finding all the targets they need, leaving just the last member, Craigzilla, left alive, and he will trade out as the final kill. And K-FOT take the map, take the series in a full sweep.
My goodness. I was able to catch Somnam's point of view as he rushed up those stairs, took out that first defender, and almost a second. He was on objective, capable of capping. That was so close to swinging in Mike-Juliet's favor, but alas, they... unfortunately, as everyone just saw, did go down. I mean, I gotta hand it to them though. I mean, scoreline doesn't quite justify how crazy of a match this game was.
Yeah, and short as well. I mean, we were seeing quarantine rounds ending in a minute and a half. You know, it's chaos from this aggression from these two teams, and we saw both of them utilize it quite well. An unfortunate situation for the Mike-Juliet squad to lose one halfway through map 2, and you got to wonder what that last map would have looked like had there been a full squad. But they played quite well despite having one member out, and a really, really great series from this Korean squad, and I believe it's their first cast of the season as well. If I'm not
I believe
mistaken.
so. Yeah, I think it is.
So definitely one we're going to have to keep our eyes on, because they're going to be climbing this board pretty quickly. They are currently ranked 19. I assume they're going to gain a couple of spots for a victory with that scoreline. And we're going to be seeing them battling some of those top teams in a week or two. And I definitely want to tune into those as soon as we see them come up.
I can't wait, honestly. From what I've seen today, even though Mike-Juliet played really well for being down a man, K-FOT were just on fire all 3 maps.
Yeah, it was a great series. It was a great series to watch, and I
Really
appreciate you bringing me on for this Friday night fight, Wookie. But
Absolutely, man. Thank you for joining me. I was a little worried I had to do it all by myself. I'm a little rusty, folks, so I appreciate you bearing with me during the technical difficulties and everything going on here. But I had a blast casting this match, and I'm so glad it was as explosive as it was. I mean, both teams, just that aggression throughout this whole series was something to respect, I think. And I think a lot of teams out there could take some notes from these guys as plays. You know, it was a great thing to watch. I must say.
Yeah, absolutely. I like I said, gonna be keeping an eye on them throughout this season.
Absolutely. Well, I think that'll do it for us at the casting desk tonight. Tune in tomorrow. We got a couple games coming up. Sorry, I don't have it pulled up in front of me right now, but do we have a venues going on tomorrow, or is that just Sunday?
I've got you covered on the sign-offs here today, Wookie. Yeah, so join us tomorrow at noon Pacific time as we bring you Peacekeepers and Silent Purge in the Venues platform. If you haven't been, Oculus Venues, a fantastic little app if you've got a Oculus Quest that you can jump in and hang out with your fellow League players and friends while you watch one of these casts. It's a very fun time. It's one of my favorite ways to ingest Onward. So that's happening again noon Pacific tomorrow. And for now, that is the only match scheduled for Saturday. But as you see today, we are fans of our last-minute pickups, and I know there's some rumblings of potentially 1 or 2 casts coming out on top of that as well. And then we got another Venues cast. Both are Button Cup matchups. The one on Sunday is Beginners versus Wookie's alma mater, which is Mayhem. And that is going to be another fantastic series casted by Trip. And that is what we've got lined up for this weekend.
I mean, that said, thank you for presenting all those matchups. I better see you guys there in the chat. Otherwise, I don't know. I might play an ad on you or something. Who knows what will happen? I'm just kidding. But that'll do it for us tonight. Thanks for everyone who tuned in tonight, and we'll catch you in the next one.